Welcome everyone to a brand new game. So we are going to go ahead and start PC Builder Simulator. What we're going to do is just basically as the game applies, it's PC building. But it's not just me just randomly throwing parts into it and we be done, because this is going to be quite a few episodes that I'm going to be putting out on this. I know that there has been a lot of requests of wanting me to play this game. I know it's a family friendly. I know a lot of people want to learn how to make a PC, or at least what goes into it and stuff like that. So I delved a little bit into it to see. That's why there's a continue in career. I took a look at it. It's really fun. Basically, the long story short of it is that you are basically picking up a shop that your uncle owned, and you are going to be taking it over because now he's retired in Florida. I think he went to Florida, and so you're taking it over, and you're just taking requests from people who ask you to like fix up the computer, repair the computer, put new things into the computer. If it has viruses, clean them out. The computer is dusty and overheating, figure out what's wrong with it, so on and so forth and stuff like that. Before we do that, because I know there are some people who don't know about computers or how they are built or what goes on with it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the how to build. So basically this is going to show you from start to finish. So when I am building the computers and stuff like that, you get a quite understanding on how to build a computer. So we're going to go ahead and start the first one. So one of the first things that you're wanting to do is, of course, open up the case. So there is a peg right here that you had to unscrew, and then you want to unscrew the back if your computer case, if you ever get one, if your computer case has one. So one of the first things that you're wanting to put into your computer is a PSU, which is a power supply unit. So first things that we got to do before we can actually put one in is we got to remove these screws. So these screws are going to be like the back paneling that holds the power supply in. So we got rid of that, and we're going to come over here, and I have quite a few things here. I can move these things out of the way. All these different things in here, we're going to go over every single one of them and delve a little bit into them. So the power supply is this cube shaped thing, so we're going to pick it up, and it's going to tell us a few things. So I'm going to go over all of them because there's going to be some names on it, and I'm going to tell you exactly what they're for. Some of them are self-explanatory, but some of them not. So on a power supply, this is what all power supplies usually look like when it comes in. So when it sits into the computer, it's sitting like this usually. So in the back right here, you put the power to this, and it usually goes out to a wall outlet. This side is going to be your modular points, and this is what's going to give power to the rest of the computer. We'll see that shortly after that. And on top of it right here is the fan, because the fan needs to blow out some of the air because the power supply does put out heat. So we're going to take that and we're going to put that into the computer. So normally the PSU, or the power supplies, are always going to go at the bottom down here. So we're going to put that in, and now we're going to put that that case part back on, and we're going to screw in the screws that we unscrewed in the beginning, but additional 4 other screws that holds in the power supply as well, so the power supply doesn't move around at all. And that's what we're doing right now. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next thing, a motherboard. So we're going to come in here, and we're going to pick up this thing. The motherboards looks always the same from a motherboard to the other. There can be some differences. It's actually upside down. You usually will see them like this, where you have, okay, so there's a lot of different things on here, so we're going to go through all of them. So a CPU slot, this is where like a CPU would go, or a central processing unit. That is going to be like the i5s, the i7s, Intel is for like Intels. You got Ryzen's for AMDs and stuff like that. So that's where this goes, and we're going to delve a little bit more into that here soon. You have your RAM slots, that where your RAM goes, or random access memory. Your power place where power is going to be going the most. They will go there. you have a Cosmos battery. This is what usually keeps the time and stuff like that going onto um, the system and everything like that. Standoffs basically is what's going to hold the computers in. PCI slot, that's going to be for like your graphics cards and stuff like that. We're going to turn it a little bit so you can see. So an AHD SATA port is where your hard drives and whatnot are going to be going into. Front paneling headers and stuff like that. Don't remember exactly what that one was for, but I know it's important for one reason or another. Chipsets and stuff like that. It just helps with the running the motherboard, and then the IOs, these things on the side. Those are where your USB is going to be, your HDMI, your direct ports, and other things that comes with it as well. That's what those are for. So, a lot into the motherboard, but the motherboard is basically the brains of or just the body. It's more of the body of the computer. So first things we're going to do is this is where the motherboard usually is at all the time. So we're going to go ahead and install it right here. First things we're going to do is we're going to put some brackets down. And these brackets are going to attach to the metal frame. And there is different size motherboards out there. There's like full ATXs, mini ATXs, different types of things that goes into it. So some computers can be small, some computer cases can be large. It all depends on what motherboard you're going to be putting in, is what case you need to be getting as well. So we put the brackets down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put the motherboard on top of those brackets, and we're going to put more brackets so it's holding between it. It's like basically sandwiching it, so whenever you tilt the motherboard, you move it on the side, or even just move it in general, the motherboard will not move. So that's what we're doing right now. We're going to put these things in here. I can get a little bit closer. So follow where the arrow's going. I'm just putting the brackets in right now. All together, there were 6 of them. So next thing that we gotta do is connect cables to it. So connecting the motherboard to the power supply. So we're gonna connect it coming all the way down to the motherboard. We're gonna connect it over here. That connects the motherboard. Next, we're going to connect the motherboard to the actual case. So we can press these buttons over here and get these things going up here. So we're going to go ahead and connect it to that. And then we're going to connect the more power point to it to the power supply as well. So 2 different places that you can get power from it. Next thing that is going to go into building a computer is going to be that CPU that I talked about earlier. That is the central power unit or processing unit. So that's usually these little, it's going to be always these things right here. You got the different things that are on it is that's your processor. Your processor's the gray piece that's up here. At the bottom you have pins, and you really don't want to bend any of these things. They're very, very small, and they're easily bent and stuff like that. And there's also a heat press that goes with it as well. So that's basically the processing unit. Processing unit can be Intel, it can be AMD. It all depends on what company you're going for. But again, that can be like the Ryzen 3, like Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7, Ryzen 9. Those are the higher gaming ones for computers. Intel has like the Intel 3, 5, 7, and 9, just the same as AMD's. So that's what the processing unit is. So what we're going to do first is we're going to lift up this tab. This little tab we see right here. We're going to lift up that tab, and it's also going to open up this tray. And we're going to go ahead and put the CPU in it, and we're going to close it. And when we close that, that's going to fall down too. And what that usually does is, because I have this thing now, this thing latches and it clicks. And you have to actually bend it down and move it over to the side to get this thing to release. Next, we're going to be putting thermal paste. Thermal paste, basically what thermal paste is what thermal stands for is heat. So when you start up the computer and the CPU is going, the CPU gets really, really, really hot. So what you do is you put this thermal paste onto it, which you just put a little dab of the thermal paste, and something else goes onto it, which is the CPU cooler, which we're about to put on. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that cooler on, and I'll explain why we put the thermal paste on there as well. So let's go ahead and grab the fan right quick, which is going to be this shape right here. They can be all different types of shapes and stuff like that. Okay, no problem. Okay, so things that goes with the fan. Again, it can be all different types. This is just this looks like the really basic fan looking one. There can be ones that are RBG, different colors, and make things look spectacular and stuff like that. Which I'm pretty sure in later episodes we will get into like builds where they look all colorful and stuff like that. Really, really cool ones. So talking about the CPU fan, of course you have the fan on top that blows and stuff like that. You have inside here is the heat sink. And heat sink is basically distributes the heat out, and they're in like a fin shape. As you see, it's like you can look inside as you're going around, and if you see, it's like in a circular motion. Going down a little bit more, we have two other things. We have these brackets. There's 4 of them, and I'll show you why there's 4 of them. And at the bottom, so this part right here, this is the cooling plate. So all of this, what's going on here is basically making this plate right here very, very, very cold. And again, that's supposed to be able to help cool down the CPU as well. So what that does is we're going to first go on the head, and we're going to put it right here. It's going to tell me if I want to change the direction I want to go. Let's say that I want it to go this way instead. I can do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the connecting, I'm going to connect it to the board. So basically what that just did was that I put that and I sandwiched this thing, and it didn't really do it, and I don't know why, but whenever you do, and it doesn't really do it in the game as well, but when you put these things in, you actually have to have a screwdriver, and you screw these things into the board as well. And that's what holds on. It's not just randomly just sitting there. You actually, the brackets, you have to actually screw it into it, and it holds right there. And because it's holding right there, it's actually making contact with the CPU, and that thermal paste and everything is coming together to keep that CPU cool. Now, one big thing that comes down to it is if you don't put thermal paste, because a lot of times, not really a lot of times, it's more of like a 15% I would say, people forgets to put thermal paste, and that's not good. Because because the CPU fan does cool it off, but it doesn't do the full justice like it needs to if there's thermal paste, because the thermal paste is what dampens a good amount of the heat and stuff that comes off of it. So it's not just inside the computers. CPUs are also inside cell phones. CPUs are also inside your game systems, your Xboxes, your PlayStations, your Switches. It's in a lot of different things. It's in TVs. TVs also have them as well. A lot of different things have CPUs, and they also have these fans that goes as well. So a lot of them different too, or does. So next thing we're going to be talking about is the graphics card. So we're going to go ahead, and the graphics card is kind of hiding right here. Let's move it right over here. So this is what our general graphics cards look like. They're usually looking like put into the PC, like, nope, like that. They're usually put in something like that, a little bit more straight, because usually this goes on the outside with the IU ports, because we have, this one is a older model, because these has the older pins that comes with it, because this is called a back plate. Newer GPUs GPUs or graphics card have like direct ports and HDMI to like TVs or your monitor and stuff like that. It's better to have a actual monitor because of gaming with refresh rates and stuff like that than a TV. But it's your own preference on how you want to do things. So that's one thing. What comes next is when you're looking at the top of it, you have the graphics processor, just like the CPU. Same thing. The difference is that the CPU, the biggest thing with the CPU is that's more of the brains. Like I said, the motherboard is the body. The CPU is like, the best way to describe it is the brains of the computer. It's the smarts of it. And the GPU has a processor on it as well. The GPU is basically the nerves. It's what moves it. It's what keeps things flowing. So if you are sitting there trying to play a game and you don't have a graphics card or a weak graphics card, you're going to be lagging and you're not going to be having a good time and stuff like that, because the graphics is not up to par with the game that you're playing. So for a big example is that if you have a graphics card that can run Minecraft, and that's it, can only run Minecraft, and you're sitting there trying to play a AAA game, let's say, I don't know, like latest Dragon Ball Z game or something like that. It won't be able to keep up with it. You're going to be lagging all over the place because the graphics are not up to par for it. So it's like the nerves of the body when it comes down to it. So same thing that comes with the CPU. You have a heat sink fan right here, just like the CPU fan, and also over here is a PCI connector. Basically, that is going to be what goes into the computer. And then you have a dual GPU. Some GPUs have this, which basically you could connect one graphics card with another graphics card to give it an even more boost to your computer as well. So with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and first things we're going to do is we're going to come back in the back. So these are PCI openings, and you can have all different openings for different things on your motherboard. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this pin out, and that removes that. So now this is open where the other ones are closed. And what we're going to do is these little pins right here, we're just going to slot the graphics card in there. Sometimes you would have to open a pin that's usually right here just for you to be able to slot it in. And once you put it in, it automatically clips, and that is a stability, so it doesn't move. And then this is the biggest stability, so you're going to put that pin back in there. Okay, so that was the graphics card. The next thing we're going to talk about is RAM. Now, RAM stands for Random Access Memory. The biggest thing that RAM does is it's whenever you're doing anything from day-to-day basis on your computer, that's either going on Google, you're listening to music on YouTube, like you're doing right now, or you're playing games. One of the big things what RAM does is that it takes that information and stores it, but unlike the storage, like a hard drive or something, which we're going to get to later, unlike that one, it's only going to be stored there for a little bit of time. So they don't have to continuously run back to the storage, our hard drive. It's stored on the RAM because it's going to be something that's going to be used again and again and again. And so instead of running back to the storage and trying to get the stuff off the hard drive, it stays right there in the RAM. And having more RAM is better, especially with the higher games. If you're going for higher games like the Dragon Ball, like I said, Dragon Ball Z or Naruto or whatever you're playing, all like different games that I've played onto the channel before, the RAM is something that's very important. And the higher the better game is, the more RAM you need, because how much information. One of the biggest thing is like if you load into an area, the area is running off of RAM and stuff like that. It's one of the big parts of it as well. So that's the whole purpose of the RAM. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into here and we're going to grab this thing. So we only have two more things after this. So RAM only has three things you got to know about. So you have these connecting ports, or these connecting pins. Now if we look at it, it's kind of, it looks like they're evenly, but one side, and I think it's this side has more pins than this side, and the reason behind that is so you can easily tell what side the pins are supposed to be on, or you put the board, because it is up straight, so you can't put it in the wrong direction. Off onto the side you can't, well, on this side you can see it, but these things are locks, and I'll show you what the locks are, but it holds these into place. And right here, this little bulge off of it, this little bump, is where the memory is stored, and it connects to that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put that in. So these are the locks that we're talking about. So I have two different RAM sticks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up these locks. So they're usually, it all depends on what motherboards you get, but some motherboards can have 2 slots, some motherboards can have 4 slots. It all depends on which one you get. If you're getting one for gaming, I would recommend, of course, getting 4. But if you're just doing light tasks like video editing and stuff like that, school stuff and things like that, 2 would be just all you really need and stuff like that. And then, so this one has 3 because, of course, this one's a gaming computer and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna, since I unlock these 4 locks, I'm gonna go ahead and enter the RAM here, and I'm gonna enter the other RAM. And when I do that, when I instantly put it in, just like I was talking about down here when I opened that lock, it's pretty much the same thing like these. When I opened all 4 of these, it was the same thing like this. Usually hard drives, you actually have to unlock it before putting it in. Like, if I have to sit there, I can't really get into it. But actually, you kind of can, unless, no, yeah, that is right there. That orange piece that you're seeing right there, it's a lock, and you actually have to press down on it. It's really hard to press since there's the bulky GPUs there. You have to unpress that to be able to get the GPU out, because again, it's what stabilizes the the GPU. So it's the same thing with the RAM. Okay, so next thing we're going to be working on is going to be your hard drive. So hard drives have two different things. So hard drives have the SATA and power. So this long part right here is SATA. This short part is going to be the power. SATA, what that does is it lets you connect it to the motherboard. Of course, power is just as it says, it's power. And inside here, usually what you can do is you can unscrew like 6 bolts or 3 bolts on both sides. Once you do that, think of it like a disc, like you put into your PlayStation, your Xbox, whatever. And it has all the memory of whatever game you're playing. Think of it like that, but it can be super big. So as I can see on here, it says right here, this one only has 64 megabytes, which that's not so good and stuff like that. It's gonna be a low one, but hey, a lot of different old computers used to have that low memory. Now, of course, we're at like, we're at 10 terabytes and more, and we have SSDs and stuff like that. We're not going to be talking about any of SSDs in here, not anytime soon. There's a lot of things that this tutorial is not going to talk about. SSDs, I know water cooling and stuff like that, but we're just getting to like the nitty and gritty of how to put a computer together. So that's basically what we're going to be talking about today, of course. So basically, going back to the spinny disk, the spinny disk is going to be what's keeping all your memory. Not memory, your storage. So all of the pictures you're saving on your computer, all the music, all the videos, all the applications, it's all going to be stored onto here. So that's what this is for. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into the, so it all depends on your computer. Some computers, you open it from this side, and you will see that when I first start playing the game, you'll notice that a few of them will be down here, and I have to open it from the back. And in some, like my computer, I open it from the front. So if I do that, this is a little tray, the bay tray, and what I do is I put that in, and there's actually some screws that you have to screw on, like 4 screws, 2 on this side, 2 on that side. It stables it, and what I can do is then close it, and after that, I will sit there and I will connect the SATA, or the power first, to the power supply, and I'm going to get the SATA, and I'm going to put it down here. As you can see, there can be multiple trays that you can put hard drives in. It all depends on what computer case you get and stuff like that. But you don't have to just have one hard drive in there. You can have multiple hard drives, and that's why there's multiple parts right here on your board. Okay, the final last thing to put into the computer is going to be the computer fan. It's going to be a short and sweet thing. It has the motor, it has the fan. It's short and sweet, nothing really too much with it. Now, the purpose of this, the purpose of the fan, is we're going to put it on, is that this computer, if we're going to be closing, if you remember, we open both sides up, so there's a lot of airflow going in here, of course. And we can keep both sides open. I highly recommend you not doing that, but when you close it, on top, there's some vents here, and then there's some vents here, and then there is a vent, but it's mostly for the fan for the power supply down here. But there's not a lot of vents, and so when the computer is on and it's on for good periods of time, the computer does heat up a lot. So what the fan's for is it's taking all that hot air and throwing it out. And so that's what this fan is for right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw this in with the brackets, and it holds it in there. And because it's not, you have to, of course you have to connect it to power, so we're going to go ahead and put that, and we're going to connect it to the motherboard. We're not going to connect it to the power supply because we're going to connect it to the body of the computer. But before I do that, so to top off everything that we really talked about on making a computer, the best way I can describe as a computer is actually a human body. The motherboard, like I said, is your body. It's your whole being. The power supply is just as it is. It's what gives you. It's the energy that is put into it. So that is what's going into your computer. The graphics card is like your nerves. for you to be able to move and stuff like that. Be able to, if you get hurt or anything, the nerves hurt and stuff like that, it hurts. But if your nerves are weakened, you're tired and stuff like that, the graphics card is going to be suffering just as much, and that's what that does. The storage is going to be for your smart stuff and things like that. So the best thing on the hard drive is like your brain and stuff like that. It's where all the good memories, bad memories, any types of memories are staying. The RAM is for like the then and now. So like if you are taking a math quiz, a science quiz, any type of quiz, that class that you're in is going to be what your RAM is going to be. It's going to be all going to be just the whatever class you're in. That's the best way to describe it. And of course, when you go to another thing, so jumping off one game and going to another game, it's not going to keep remembering all the stuff that you did in math class. You are now going to start learning things about science class. And that's what the RAM is actually supposed to be for. The next thing is going to be the processing unit, or the CPU and the fan, and that is going to be the smarts of it. How smart that your computer is and stuff like that is how smart you are. That's basically what that is for. So if you don't have a good CPU, it's going to carry over to what you can do and what you cannot do. And of course, you have to be, because it heats up a lot, so you need a CPU fan in it as well. So now with all that being said and stuff like that, again, there is going to be some things that we haven't done, like the water cooling and stuff like that, some SSDs and stuff like that, but we'll get to that when we're going into the actual weeks of me playing this. So we're going to go ahead and connect the fan to the motherboard. And so now all we're going to do now is we're going to close up it. So we're going to put the side paneling back on. Usually you screw it back in with the bracket there. We're going to put it on here. And up at the top, that gray piece, you screw it back in there. Next, we're going to get our cables. So it all depends on how your PC build is. Do you want a wireless keyboard? Do you want wired keyboards? I know a lot of, PlayStation, Xboxes, whatnot have wireless controllers and stuff like that. It really is a preference on how you like to do things. For me, I have, for when I do games and stuff like that, I don't do super hard games on my PC, mostly because that's what I have the PlayStation, what I have this for, and my Xbox and stuff like that. That's what I do all the hardcore gaming with. So whenever I do anything on my PC, I have wireless, but I know a lot, you will see, like, if you watch tournaments and people actually sitting there playing high-end games and stuff like that, you see wired, because the time it takes from getting to the receiver to the actual mouse and keyboard can delay your reactions and stuff like that. So a lot of people has the wired mouses and not. So with that being said, I got 4 different things here. So this first one right here, I'm going to start here. As you see, there's a power strip, and this power strip has this part right here. What this is going to go into, it's going to go into your power supply. So that's going to give you the power to your computer right there. Your next thing is going to be, okay, so the one that I just picked up, this closer one here. Oh, nope, resume. Okay, I picked up this one, and this is going to be your mouse. So I'm going to connect that to the I/O ports right here. And this is actually your motherboard. It's part of the motherboard, so it has it. So I'm going to go ahead and connect that there. I'm going to skip this one for a second. I'm going to come over here. This is going to be your keyboard, another wired keyboard. Again, it is recommended if you're going to be doing some hardcore gaming on the PC. And then the last thing is this, which is going to be your computer, going to your computer. And this did change. When we were looking at it, and I was describing the graphics card, because it's going to go in the graphics card. Sometimes if you don't have a graphics card into your computer, like if it's going to be not for gaming, stuff like that, you normally can plug it into here. Like you can see that this is going to, these are HDMI ports right here. So if you don't have a graphics card, you usually plug it in there. Because a computer can run without a graphics card. That is possible, but it's not going to be the best thing. So if you're trying to play like all these high-end games and stuff like that with no graphics card, it's not going to be good. So whenever I was talking about the graphics card before, this HDMI was not there. It was just this one right here and this one, which these ones are like older, older connecting types, because nowadays and also a direct port. And so that's what the two different ones are for. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the HDMI to it. And now that everything is connected, the PC is back together and everything like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the computer with the power right here. And now that starts the computer. And that's how you build a computer. A good 30 minutes instructions on how to put a computer all together and stuff like that. Let's put it to the test of the knowledge that I was just reviewing. I'm going to go ahead and do at least one day. Going on further, I'll probably do maybe 1 or 2, 3 days worth of stuff. But let's go ahead and get into this. It's going to talk about if I have like an autosave, which I do, which is perfectly fine. It's going to override it, so I'm going to hit yes. So I don't have any of these unlocked, most likely throughout when I'm playing this game. If you guys really enjoying, I would probably pick up the Razer, because I love Razer products, or August. I love that them as well, so I might pick up some of these to be able to play in these work spots or workplaces. But right now, I'm just going to work in the PC Building Simulator workspace. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to accept it, and we're going to start it up. Okay. Get some noises in the background. Okay. Things are loading up. Okay, welcome to PC Building Simulator. To begin, go to your PC by the doorway and open the email program on your desk. You got an email. Okay, so we're going to talk about a few things before we go ahead and do that. So let's talk about this room, because we're going to get really comfortable with this room. So first things first, let's go out of the room. This is where I leave to actually leave the workshop. Think of this as like, you could say like this is a hotel, or not a hotel, like an apartment or something like that, a workplace. But basically, this is where you come in. This is where they will put like computers and stuff like that. If I ever buy some parts will come here. This is where I'm going to first work at. I can get 2 more desks to work on computers as well. A storage can go here, and then I have my other storage if I have any extras parts that I need. Usually it's right here. I have a calendar that tells me like when my utilities, which is like my power, and also when I have to pay rent and stuff like that. My rents are already $500. I'm currently sitting at -15. That's not good. But what we're gonna do is we're going to go onto here, and we're going to check that email. Before I do that, you'll see some of these things are orange as I'm going up in levels. Like if you look at the very top right hand corner, it says level 1. When I get to certain levels, I can be able to change like my my monitor, my keyboard setup and stuff like that. I'll be able to start working with that. My PC's down here. It doesn't have the best things because, again, I'm not playing any games on here. I do have a good graphics card in there, but it's not meant for gaming and stuff like that. It's more for, you know, checking emails, buying stuff, and things like that. So let's go ahead and get on to the email. I have a few things on here I can add and remove programs, shop for different things, a music player, and my emails. I also can change the wallpaper if I want to. Let's have like this cute dog and cat. It looks lovely. Let's go ahead and keep that. But let's go ahead and check the email out. So we got 2 different ones. We have a welcome, which says, hey, thank you for taking over the shop for me. Sorry, it's not in better things. A few things. The company isn't doing very well, and there's no money in the bank account. As you can see, there's a -15. That's not good. The rent and energy bill comes out monthly, so make sure you have enough money for them. I had a job on the go, which should help with the rent. See the email below, which is this one right here from G. Albin. So we're going to get to that in a couple seconds. Remember to use your thermal paste when putting in CPUs, like I was talking about earlier. I almost always forget, and PCs do overheat. So I think you're all set. It's your company now, so run it how you see fit. I hope you do better than I do. Love you lots, Uncle Tim. P.S. I borrowed $15 for fuel. you know how it is. And so that's why I'm negative 15. Good. Love my uncle already. Okay, so currently let's go ahead and check out the request. It says hi Tim because he thinks that Tim is the person who's still running it. Nope, you know, it's DJ now. So let's get going. So it says, I hope you can help me. My computer has been running slower than usual. I think it might, I might click on something that I shouldn't have. Do I have a virus? Question mark. Thanks, Gary. So he's giving me this. He's telling me that if you can figure out what's going on, then it's going to be $100 for the labor for doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and go to PC. That kicked me off my computer and threw me right here. So let's go ahead and pick this up. Picking up the computer, we're going to move it right here. So this is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to see if there's any viruses onto this thing. So we're gonna plug in the computer and run a for viruses. So I don't actually have to open it up on this one. That's a good thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to plug in everything. So again, we're going to go with the mouse. We're going to go... It can be any order you plug these things in. It doesn't have to be a certain order, but it's the HDMI, the power, and then the keyboard. And now I need to insert a USB. So what we're going to do is we're going to press up. And I have 3 tools and softwares. I have my thermal paste if I need to put some on. Some compressed air if the thing is dirty. And then I have a flash drive or a USB drive that has like different programs on it as well. And so I'm going to plug that in this top one up here. These down here are like there's different types of USBs. And these are usually USB 2s. And those are for like the basic, you know, plugging in your keyboard and mouse. But when you have to plug in like heavier things like an external hard drive or a thumb drive, you want to put it into 3.0 or the 3.1 slots, which makes things go a whole lot faster. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put it up here, and now we're gonna press the power button, which I don't have to come over here and press. I can just press triangle. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna press X. And so this is, it looks like mine sort of, but it's actually theirs. I'm gonna, since I have that flash drive in, I can actually come into here. I have a few things that I can put onto it. What we're gonna do is going to put a scan or the virus scanner, and once this is installed, it's installing to the computer right now. What's gonna happen is that it's fully installed, and now I need to restart the computer. That's what we're going to do. So it's turning off, doing a full reset right now, and then it's going to come back on. Okay, there we are. So that's very, very loud. I might turn that down. Now, since last time you've seen it, since we turned it off, this is new up here now. So we're going to turn it on. And this is going to be like your virus scanner, like your Norton or your McAfee, whatever. It all depends on which scanner, virus scanner you have. So I'm going to go and it's going to scan through all of his files. And warning, files found. Some 283 files were infected. We're going to clean that up. It's good to go. Now, most people would sit there and, of course, you turn off the computer. Computer's turned off. You see the fan stopped and everything like that. Of course, most people sit there and like, remove the cables and stuff like that. Because this is a video game, you don't really have to do that. You back off, you just pick up the computer, and they all fall off. And that's everything. Even my USB and everything falls off it, so I don't have to worry. I'm going to go ahead and put it over here. Once I do that, and once it's in a box and sitting right there, I can come into my email. And because I did everything, I can go ahead and collect. And I collected $100 off of that. That was my first job. And I'm out of the negatives now. I got $85 off of that. So I got an email says I was buying a PC earlier, and I forgot which power supply to buy. Supplies the 380 I just added is someone who is not using my new cloud Note app might say have you been forgetting things, needing somewhere to note what you're working on, you can try the cloud note. Oh, this is from your uncle as well, by the way. Basically, if I keep reading on, it's just basically saying that there is a notification that or a app that I can put onto the computer that can help me with remembering things, but I don't really have that problem, so I'm not even going to worry about that. So I'm going to delete that email. I'm going to delete this one as well because I'm done with this task. This one was going to be talking about earlier. I read that. I'm going to take that one away. And I got one more email from my uncle. Says I read an article online about business principles, and it got me thinking. It's time I took Tim's red hot repairs back to its roots. Top priority, I set up a website. The article said you're nobody if you're not on the web. Take a look when you got a minute. It's timsredhotrepair.com. Seriously, open up the browser, check it out. It's a real website. Took me hours to get it working. As for next step, I got my eyes on a few local properties. The money I need is tied up in the old workshop of yours, but I'm sure I can think of a quick fire way to get cash. Anyways, just have a look in the website. Let me know what you think. I'll keep you updated. Excited for the future, Uncle Tim. P.S. Do keep everything flammable in the old workshop, and if not, do you think maybe you could start? Do you keep anything? I don't know what that means, but yes. So there's nothing left for there. So usually after you're done with jobs and stuff like that, usually when you come in over the night, there is going to be people that sent you some more requests and stuff like that. You can accept them and things like that, but I don't have anything here right now. So finished all the jobs. Oh yeah, so we're all done with the day. So basically I'll get to it. So there's no jobs right now. I completed what I needed to complete. So what I'm going to do is I always got to remember to go back on the computer, press triangle to turn off the computer, and I got to turn off the lights. And so there's no power coming to the room because utilities will matter for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and head to the door. Okay, I'm ending the day. So I can end the day or stay in the office. I'm going to go ahead and end the day. I'm going to switch over to the 2nd of January. And now I'm going to go ahead and go to work. This is where we're going to stop, but we're going to quickly head on to the computer to know what we're going to be doing on the next episode. We're going to flip onto the computer right quick. Again, this is going to be really loud, so I do apologize. I am going to fix that over on to the next episode. So we're going to sit there, and we're going to see that we have 4 new requests that's going to be waiting for us. They did pop in yesterday since it is the 2nd, but I guess I wasn't here before I left. Oops. But hey, there's 4 different ones. So the whole reason behind this is that some of these things that they're talking about, I have to sit there and buy these parts, and for me to be able to have them when I get them. So basically, some of these things will say like, "Hey, I need you to upgrade this. Hey, I need something different on this. Can you do this?" and stuff like that. So I have to buy these parts and have them ready the day that I get these computers. So if I don't have these things, I would have to, of course, buy them or deny picking them up. So like this one right here actually does not let me deny it. I have to accept every single one of them, or I can accept them at a certain time. So I don't have to accept all of them. I will accept all of them, but like this one right here is replace the graphics card, have something that's better and stuff like that. Well, he's asking to put this one in or better and stuff like that. You can go better. It's going to probably cost you a little bit more than better, but in the long run, putting it all in would actually make things work. But again, that's going to be on the next episode when we start playing this again next week. So I hope you guys are actually enjoying this. I hope you guys actually enjoyed learning about how to put a computer together. I know it was only one day. Going on further, we're going to sit there. Next time we play, I'm going to try to get to at least Thursday, end it off on Friday, and of course, try doing at least 3 days. I should be able to do at least 3 days within the time frame that, I usually do my videos and stuff like that. So, with that being said, if you guys really enjoyed this, go ahead and leave a like, If you have any questions about it or want to know anything, anything that even just dealing with computers, because not just playing this game and stuff like that. I have a lot of skill, a lot of information, and a lot of know-how on computers. If you have any questions on computers and want to know anything, you just let me know, and I can answer any questions down in the comments. With that being said, thank you for everyone stopping on by and watching today's episode. With that being said, this is Mr. Madison with Mr. Madison Plays, and you have a wonderful day. Laters.